The Kings 11 are on a roll and they have the force of the gale behind them. You're watching another episode of End of Days Play, and this is Uninvited Opinions. Lux, Kings 11 are on a roll here. Who's going to stop them?
Yeah, it's a very tough question. They, of course, had a great day today, a complete team performance yet again. And what a turnaround this has been. 5 games in a row. They have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in the course of this run of form. And today was nothing like that. It was just comprehensive right from the word go. Right in the first innings, when KKR posted a below par total of 149 in the first innings for a game at Sharjah, I knew it was never going to be enough. I thought Kings 11 actually had a very good day in the field. They started off with a bang, getting those 3 top order wickets. And then there was a nice counter attack from Owen Morgan and his trusted lieutenant in Shubman Gill. And then when Morgan fell, again Kings 11 clawed their way back. They nicked off Narayan early, and then Nagarkoti somehow came ahead of Cummins and allowed the spinners to completely dig their teeth in and completely suck away any wind from behind the sails of the Kolkata batting. And that meant it required some lusty blows, a handful of lusty blows from Lockie Ferguson in the end to get them to the score that they eventually managed, that is 149. And I think Kings 11 were mighty pleased with their effort because everybody chipped in. Mohammad Shami at the top, the spinners came to their own, and Chris Jordan clicked at the death as well. So it was a complete bowling effort from Kings 11.
KKR's problems were laid bare in this innings. Across the tournament, they've only had a couple of batsmen who contributed in every game. They've never sort of clicked as a batting unit consistently. So for the past few games, it was mostly Owen Morgan and Dinesh Karthik. Today it was Owen Morgan and Shubman Gill. And either side of that partnership in the middle, there's absolutely not a lot working for them. They were strangled by the Kings 11 bowlers, and when they sort of launched that counter-attacking partnership, it was very exciting to see. But when Morgan got out at an inopportune time, you just felt that, okay, that's going to be the end of the KKR, momentum. And they didn't have a lot of batsmen to come after that, and they just struggled. And, as you rightly mentioned, Kings 11 strangled them. So all in all, they must have been the happier team, heading into the mid-innings break. And when they resumed their innings, they didn't sort of get off to, a helter-skelter start. It was a fairly sedate start. They kept it, they just about kept pace with the run rate. They didn't sort of blow away the bowlers. The KKR bowlers also sort of applied pressure. When the spinners came on, they turned the screws a little bit more, leading to Rahul's wicket. And then the universe boss decided to turn the game on its head, took the pitch out of the equation, and just shows why he's still such a force in this format, smoking sixes at will and decisively turning the game in Punjab's favour.
Kings 11's start was probably too circumspect. I could not necessarily understand the logic behind it, whether it was they were tied down by the Kolkata bowling or whether it was their conscious effort to start slow. But I thought they were kind of getting into a hole themselves, because when Rahul departed, their run rate was actually less than a run a ball. I know the target wasn't big in front of them, but still, in the past, we have seen Kings 11 kind of slip from very strong positions. So it needed somebody to take them out and bring that momentum back in. And Chris Gayle was the perfect person to walk in at that moment. And that the personality he brings to the middle, the intimidation that he brings to the middle, he doesn't necessarily have to hit every ball out of the park. Just his presence keeps the opposition on their toes. And today he was on his toes. He actually ran some quick singles, ran some twos along with Mandeep Singh, and allowed Mandeep Singh to take his time and not throw his wicket away in any kind of panic. So it was a great partnership with Gayle taking the aggressor's role, and actually they ended up putting together 100 for the second wicket. So when you had close to 140 runs for just the fall of one wicket, the writing was on the wall, obviously. And it was great to see that when the spinners were just trying to apply that pressure, the KKR spinners, Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan, it needed just a couple of lusty blows from Chris Gayle. Anything in his arc, he could just swing his bat at will, and it just easily cleared the boundary. So there was no pressure at the other end on Mandeep Singh, who actually made best use of that opportunity and scored a very steady half century himself. So it's very pleasing for Kings 11 that everybody now is putting their hand up. The first part of the tournament, when Kings 11 actually fell to the bottom of the table, it was KL Rahul doing all the scoring. And since they actually gotten on the roll of winning these 5 games, it's kind of KL Rahul who is kind of faded away of sorts, at least by his own standards. And it is the rest of the batting unit which has clicked. And that is very pleasing to see. So Kings 11 will be very bored by that team effort, both with the ball as well as with the bat.
Yeah, and I quite like the fact that you mentioned Chris Gale's running, because on air Kumar Sangakkara was saying that when he was playing against Chris Gale, he always used to look out for how Gale was running. If he was taking the quick singles, that means he really wants to strike and he's in the mood, and he definitely showed that today. With the win, Kings 11 have pushed KKR down from the 4th to the 5th spot and are now marginally ahead on net run rate. So, and again, I think they've got momentum. I really see them sort of taking charge of that final playoff spot. And I don't see KKR making a comeback from this. Let's see what happens. Your choice for the player of the match? I think it has to be Chris Gale.
When somebody gets a man of the match for scoring a 50, it is not necessarily a huge contribution, but it was a 50 that was needed at that point. And also, when everybody in the team around is putting their hand up, and it's a very healthy headache to have to adjudicate who the man of the match is going to be. So it had to be Chris Gale today. I agree with the choice there, but I think there were a handful of other team members of his who actually came close to being in the contention. So that's a very pleasing sign for Kings 11.
Absolutely. A notable mention for Ravi Bishnoi as always. He was fantastic. Looking at tomorrow's game, it's going to be between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Delhi Capitals. Both teams coming off consecutive losses. How do you see this one going?
Sunrisers have to pull their socks up. I still see Delhi to be the more stronger side of the two, more balanced side of the two. But I think Delhi would like to arrest their slide themselves. It will be an interesting game for sure. I think going forward, no games are going to be boring. But I still see Delhi edging Sunrisers tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Sunrisers can do what Kings 11 have done over the past few days. Because if they're playing the top 3 teams in the remaining 3 matches, so they're playing Delhi, then they're playing the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and then the final match is against the Mumbai Indians. So if they really want to make the playoffs, they've got to beat teams at the top of the table. Let's see if they have it in them. That's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way. And as always, we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.